Hi, Rayne again with new show. New podcast, whatever. I wanted to come back and talk a little bit about modern slavery and what it means to be a modern slave and why that is a reality for everyone. And well, um, just for the heck of it, you need to be the change you want to see. Um, Basically, the entrepreneurship that YouTube offers is, well, I think that the old way YouTube used to be is falling to the wayside, where we're losing what YouTube used to be. It's kind of sad that I'm late to the game, but I want to be a little forthcoming and say that most of our issues in today's society is because we're modern slaves. We're not free by any means. What I mean by that is the jobs that we have, the career choices that we're offered, the career paths that we have at our disposal are just pathways to another job, another career that it isn't really a career or a job per se, but it's really just a new path for slavery. And what I mean by that is, well, you have a job for a number of years and you do things for a while until you're not needed anymore. Then they let you go. They let you go, or they lay you off, and you're back on the street. Maybe wind up homeless, like me a few times, and that's just the nature of the beast. And the thing is, it really is a beast. It's a foolish thing that we've allowed this to occur for so long. I'm not condemning anybody, but I'm also saying we need to wake up and smell the coffee, so to speak. We need to, wake up and take the power back, because the problem in our society, in today's society, is that we leave the rulers to do what they do, and they're not doing too great of a job. I mean, not at all, considering the fact that we're still slaves. We're still part of that group, and that crazy little group of worker bees. We're running around in our little lives and we're doing our day-to-day thing, and we don't realize how enslaved we are to our job and our consumer driven lifestyle. What we do for ourselves and for others, it may not be anything more than just happenstance, but to be totally and completely clear, the slavery that I'm talking about is it's a false freedom, my friends. You think you're free, but you're really not. Okay, you need money to survive. You can't live here in this country freely. You've got to have money. So, I mean, the homeless situation is evidently clear as to how that occurred. It's evidently clear that you need money to survive in this country. If you can't get a job or can't keep a job, then you're going to wind up just like them, like I was on the street in Los Angeles. It was a rough experience, and I don't recommend that for anybody. Okay, I don't want anyone to go through that. That was terrible. I'm not making light of this by any stretch of the imagination. I am very serious when I say it's a slavery thing, because it is. If you think you're free, you're wrong. If you think you're not a slave, you're wrong, because quit your job and see how long it lasts, your freedom, how long your false freedom exists before you have to go back to work to pay your bills to keep your place. Even if you own your house, you never truly own it. You'll be paying taxes for the rest of your life. Even if you pay off the loan you own on a house, you owe on a house, rather, you'll still be paying the taxes. If you don't pay those taxes, the government can take the house from you. So, yeah, you're never truly free. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. That's the nature of this country we live in, and the world we live in today. It's ran by corporations, ran by companies, and the businesses and the banks and all of them folks. They control everything. They can break a country at will, and they can create countries at will. I mean, look at Abu Dhabi, for instance, the United Arab Emirates. Look at that. Came out of nowhere because of oil, because they had something the rich people wanted. And look at that. An instant city out of nowhere, in the middle of the desert. Boom, boom, it sprang to life. And then you see what happens there is actually what happened in the Western world. We came out here for gold and for oil, and boom, look what happened. You know, just saying, the Oregon Trail wasn't just a game, folks. But really and truthfully, it was about Western area of the country conquest, you know, to settle the western end of our country. And yeah, that's a whole other video altogether. But I really wanted to bring to light a little bit of my insight to why I think that most people don't get this is because they don't want to get it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to own up to that. They don't want to know about their slavery. They don't want to think that it's possible. They don't want to see this kind of ugliness that's become our American way, because that's not just our way. That's the entire world. I mean, China has gone one step further in making it a social credit thing. So is Scandinavia. Well, not Scandinavia, but Switzerland. The Swiss have gone the way of the Chinese and done something similar to the social credit score. And it's terrible. It's a tyranny beyond tyranny. It's a tyranny that I can't even understand how that occurred and how people let that happen, but they think it's good. What? Really? You think individualism is not okay? That socialism, that being a group thinker is fine? Okay, that's perfectly fine, because you need to have a consensus of how the group feels to get an idea of what we could do to please everyone, what we can do to make some people happy, or at least a majority of the group happy. That's group thinking, and that's a good thing in some cases. But taking it to that standard, to the social credit score, to the way Switzerland does it, is not good. Okay, that is the beginning of fascism, the beginning of socialist control, and the beginning of communism. And my God, people, we've seen how that worked in the past, and how much it tore apart other countries. And America used to stand up against these people, the ones that are Marxist and fascist. We used to stand up against those people to fight for the freedom of others when we ourselves were not free. Because the freedom that we falsely have is the freedom of choice. And it's really not a choice, because you have the options laid before you. There's a controlled set of options. If you don't want any of those things, you're still left without a choice. You know, you can participate or you can choose to not participate. But choosing to not participate will ultimately put you where I was in the city of LA, on the street, you know, homeless. The choosing not to participate won't keep you there. And in my instance, my particular way and manner of winding up homeless was a simple run of bad luck and maybe a few poor choices, nothing more than that. And I don't think it was completely and utterly a terrible decision to come to California. It might have been good had we had better plans, or maybe had some better ideas in the works to make things better. It would have been a different story altogether. We would have wound up maybe thriving a little better in Southern California, you know. But the truth is that the life that we all have, the freedom that we all possess, is ours. No one can take that from you. And the freedom that I'm talking about is the freedom that God offers you, the freedom that the Father offers you. And it's real freedom. It's true freedom. It's not this crap, this farce that our country's been offering, you know, this false freedom, like choices. You can go get a job here. You can earn this amount of money here, and you can get this kind of, this kind of job and this kind of career here. And then you'll be freer because you have all this money to buy extra things and all this, that, and the other. But really what they're doing is they're just recycling their wealth, because they put you in the system to where they give you the money they earn for their contribution to society. Then you take the money you earn from that paycheck and you go and spend it on things that the company themselves may make or have some sort of investment into. It's a big pyramid scheme, and that's pretty much the whole of consumerism as it is. It's not a perfect system, because it is flawed, and we are going to see the problem with it occur pretty close to maybe another decade or so. I wouldn't go as far as saying another decade, but I wouldn't put it past going more than maybe 20 years down the road. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen in 25, 30 years. But the truth is that imminent critical mass is heading our way. I'm not sure when it's supposed to hit or when it may hit, but it's not going to be good when it does, because no one's going to be able to move out of the way of this. Okay, when it hits the fan, it's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard, and it's going to get everywhere. Okay, you're going to get it on you. So I don't want to scare anybody, because that's not my job. My goal isn't to scare anyone. My goal is to make you aware, and the awareness is that if we come together as a community and put aside all selfish things, put aside all the selfish needs and wants, I should say, rather than needs, because we all have needs. That's not selfish. That's just communal. That's communal. We all have needs. Everyone has the same needs. We all need food. We all need shelter. We all need love. That's, three things we all need. That's synonymous with humanity. We all need that. And, the wildlife may not need shelter, but we do. Okay. The wildlife may not need camaraderie, but we do. We need love. We need shelter, and we need food. And the wildlife gets all that. So God took care of that for them. They can do it on their own, and we don't need to worry about them. We need to take care of ourselves. Okay. Take care of each other. Brothers and sisters, we need to take care of each other, and that's pretty much the end of it right there. Because I know we're headed towards a wall. I know that this country. I mean, we can't keep doing what we're doing. We can't keep doing that, because it's just going to wind up bad. Okay. It's going to wind up real bad. If we take this down further than it is and it's meant to go, then we may end up seeing some good things come from it. We might see some good things come from this. It could turn the other way. Say it hits the fan tomorrow, we could see some good things come from that. We could change it and make it happen sooner or later, but either way, we can turn what they intend for bad to good quite easily if we come together. I don't mean rise against, okay, because that's not for us to do. We don't overthrow the tyranny. We just ignore it, okay? Rise in ourselves to work together to bring about change, the change we want to see. We have to implement it. We can't go to the top and change it because they won't listen. So, they're too caught up in their earning money for the oil they say they own. And the story there. They're too deep in their own mess to see a way out. So rather than try to fix the problem, they're going to let it crash. And rather than try and fix what's going on, they're going to let it just fall apart. So that's the state of affairs, people. I mean, we're headed to an end that's not going to be pretty for our country. May even make us a third world country for a bit. But we as Americans owe it to ourselves and to others who want to join our country to make this place better, to make America great again. And I don't just say that because that was one of the things that Trump was preaching when he was running for office. He's done an okay job, I think, not much better or worse than anyone else has done. So I don't really think it's a an accurate representation to say that Trump has been a bad president. I don't think so. I think there's been some things that are questionable he's done and some great things that he's done. But, you can say that about every president. Every single president we've had thus far has done some great things and some terrible things. The worst thing that I can think of happening in the last 20 years, well, I'm not going to go into all that, but you know what those things are. The worst things that happened in the last 20 years, duh. It's very obvious what's happened in the last 20 years because we've all lived through it and our country's changed for the better or for the worse. Either way you slice it, it's been a crapshoot for a lot of different people. And I'm not trying to be cryptic, but I also don't want to lay a lot of things bare here because we all know that. We all been through it, and most of us don't want to really relive it. So I just want to say to those of you out there who want to change things, to stop waiting for it to occur. We need to go and do this together, rise up ourselves and be the change we want to see. I don't mean to by overthrowing the government or being violent, because that's not the answer. The answer is, peaceful resolution, to do things yourself. If you want to see things come about in a way to change things for the good, then find ways to do that. Start your own business. make T-shirts, whatever. Do what you got to do. Start a restaurant. Get a food truck. Do that. Whatever. I mean, it's an investment that's wise. That's some of the things that, most of the entrepreneurial spirit in our country is gone because the regulations required to run a business have really made it impossible for mom and pop shops to come up out of nowhere. So it takes a lot of money to make things like that happen. So, the American dream has been stolen from us, and it's not pretty, but we can still make things happen. We can still change things. It's not too late. It might be too late for the rest of the country, but it's not too late for us. Not at all. We as Americans can do it, and we can do it together. And we don't have to take this as it is and let things happen as they may. We can bring the bartering system back. It doesn't have to be terrible. It doesn't have to be, an apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have to be fear porn. We can do things together. We can rise together. And that needs to be the main focus of our goals, is to rise together, to come up as one. All of us, we need to do this together. I know I say that a lot, but I mean it, because we've got to do this. We can't just let it happen, because we owe it to our future and to our children's future to make this a better place for them to live. And I don't want the American way to be a thing of the past. I want the American way to be a thing of the future, and a goal for the present, and a mindset that we carry forward with us into the future, because we need to do something about this, and we can't do anything without each other. Not one of us can do this alone, but together we are strong. That's one of the things that I want to bring up about a movie, Planet of the Apes. Apes together strong. That's not just an ape thing. That's not just in the movies. Okay, that's true. If we all come together and we do this together, and we make America great again, it doesn't require anyone else but you. And we can all do this at the same time. We can all do this together. That's pretty much all I want to say. Is it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be crazy. We can choose to do it the other way. We can choose to do it the smart way, the intelligent way, the American way, and do things right. Do it right the first time. We can choose to do it that way. That's pretty much it for right now. So thanks for watching, guys. I love you. Have a good one.